Welcome to First Chapter Friday. My name is Lucy, and the book that I'm going to be reading the first chapter of today is called Izzy at the End of the World by K.A. Reynolds. This is the story of 14-year-old Izzy Wilder, who lives in Vermont with her grandparents and her sister and her dog. At the beginning of the book, we learn that Izzy's mother has recently died, and nothing in the world feels right to Izzy. But she's having a nice night with her grandparents when the book starts. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this light flashes in the sky and more lights follow it. And Izzy finds out that everyone in the world has disappeared. The only people left are Izzy and her dog, Akka, who's not really even a person. So that's the starting point for the book. And the book becomes this quest for Izzy to figure out what has happened, what these lights mean, and where everyone in the world has gone. She unearths a diary of her mother's and the CD that her mother left behind of all these great 80s songs. And Izzy starts to realize that maybe there's more to the CD than just these songs. Maybe it's a treasure map of sorts. Maybe it has some clues about what's happening and how Izzy can save the world. I'm not going to tell you much more than that. First chapter tells you a lot. And the introduction in and of itself is really well done. It contains some trigger warnings, but the author has Izzy, the main character, telling you about them, which I think is a really great way to add those in. So I will now read Chapter 1. Forward. Hello, my name is Isadora Wilder, but most people call me Izzy. I'm 14 years old, and everything I'm about to tell you is true. The first thing you should know about me is that I'm autistic. For those of you who don't have experience with autism, how I speak and act and the ways I process things might seem unrealistic, frustrating, or just plain wrong. But this is just me being me, the only way I know how, and I won't apologize for that. I also have anxiety and depression, so opening all the way up to people can be hard for me, especially because some adults don't like the personal things I have to say. It makes them uncomfortable to hear the pain kids like us go through. But I say those folks are wrong. Us kids are stronger, smarter, and braver than adults could ever understand. That's why I'm opening my story to you, because maybe you've gone through hard stuff too. Maybe you've felt the way deep down hurt like me and need a friend who knows what it's like to be scared and misunderstood. Someone who knows what it's like to feel alone in this great big world. And if the adults don't like it, tough. Us kids need to stick together. A few words of warning, though. This book contains triggers. Those with anxiety, panic attacks, depression, abuse, death, cancer, and or suicide triggers might not want to read on. But if you do decide to come with me through my story, I sure hope you find something inside it that helps you through your own story too. Either way, know I'm sending you love to wherever you are, and I wish you a life of love, healing, and joy. Thanks for being here. Much love, Izzy Wilder. In the end, there is no turning back. Chapter 1, They're Here. 36 minutes before everyone vanished, I was playing video games with my little sister Maple. We were tucked up cozy and warm in a house on top of a mountain, high enough to touch the night sky. It was late summer in Vermont, September 19th, to be exact. A cool breeze slipped through the evening air, perfumed with wood smoke and pine. My grandparents were awake, talking real quiet on the couch, almost asleep. Me and Maple were creating new avatars in our favorite game, if you call rolling on the floor and laughing while making up hilarious character names actually playing the game. Everything was normal, nice, quiet. At least it was until my sister made me yell at her again. Maple, no, you cannot name your night elf Fartmaster 19. We were howling so loud, Graham startled awake on the couch and hollered at us to hush. What? Maple, 12 going on 18, answered while shaping Fartmaster 19's nose. It's not like your cat lady's name is any better. I whipped around fast, laughter gone. How dare you talk about OMGILOVECORN that way? She's a serious and smart cat lady who just happens to enjoy corn. Everyone thinks she's amazing, see? I pointed my controller at the townsfolk and dragon on screen, reflected in Maple's big hazel eyes. Here comes the Dragon Slayer lady to worship OMG I Love Corn. Maple gave me a look from behind a wave of brown hair that said, Ew, I'm embarrassed to know you, and I couldn't love you more. I knew how Maple felt, because that's how I felt about her too. Okay, fine, Maple groaned and deleted the name Fartmaster19. If I can't use the name I want, what about something we agree on, like your cat lady stinks and so do you? She ducked before I threw my pillow at her head, like she knew I would. I gasped. How dare you? I do not stink, and my cat lady can't help smelling like corn. It's literally all she eats. Oh, I dare. Maple tried not to laugh, and I dare all the way over again, too. I gasped and collapsed dramatically on the floor. Fine, change it back to Fartmaster19 if you want, but if the villagers make fun of her, that's on you. Pleased with herself, Maple grinned and changed her avatar's name back to Fartmaster19, like she'd planned to do all along. Elves, I mumbled, grabbing my controller with a ghost of a smile. Then we joked and fought and played until Maple got sleepy and went to bed, bragging about Fartmaster19 the whole way. While Graham scrolled her phone on the couch and Pops heated the oil for popcorn, I snuck outside to peer up at the glitter-bright stars. Out on the deck by myself, it was just me and my thoughts and all the peace in the world. As always, I gravitated to my mom's amethyst necklace, strung by a silver chain at my neck. Amethyst was my birthstone, and my mom's necklace was special. Twirling the raw, oversized stone comforted and grounded me. Touching it made me feel closer to her. The deck lights flickered. Izzy! Grams hollered at me on the deck, and I jumped. How long are you going to be out there? It's cold! Grams had a mess of curly brown hair like mine topping her head. A set of dimples like mine poked her cheeks. All the love and fire in the universe flickered inside her fierce brown eyes. But goodness, was she always worrying about me being cold? I'd only been outside a few minutes, but according to her, I might as well have been lost in the Arctic for years. I stared at her through the sliding glass doors and knew exactly what her next words would be. You'll catch your death out there, Isadora. Now come on and get your sweater. I squeezed my mom's amethyst in my fist and sighed. I already had on a sweater. A Star Wars one Grams had made me with Yoda on the back. Strong you are, knit written underneath. Not to mention my fleece leggings and thick wool socks. I was definitely not cold. My grandfather, who I'd always called Pops, grinned at me from the kitchen with smiling blue eyes, like he knew all the secrets of the world. Do what she wants, Izzy, he called through the glass doors. You know she's always right. He gave Grams a side-eyed smirk. She looked back at him, nodded, and laughed. And it was good. It was right. It felt like the dark days of our history, all the hard times that came before this were light years away. We locked eyes then, first me and Grams, then me and Pops, the two of them inside, safe and sound, me outside on my own, night wind stripping me to bones. I'll never forget that moment, as if all the words we never said to each other whispered between us. Who would have guessed that look we were sharing was goodbye? When I turned back around to the stars, an odd light gleamed at the far edge of the sky. The light was twice the width of Venus and shone brighter than the whole blanket of stars. It was like the mysterious light had pinned itself to the heavens, as if waiting for me to find it. Most would have said, that's just another star. And I thought that at first too, until my brain said, Izzy, you've been watching the same sky since you were born. Your brain knows that light wasn't there before. Trust your brain. That light is no star. Suddenly, I really was cold, freezing water down my spine cold. Do you see that? I asked Grams and Pops without looking back, but the wind stole my voice and dropped it into the valley before they heard me. So I kept watch, pushing the curls away from my face and digging deeper into the mystery. Gramps' eyes were so hot on my back, I thought Yoda might catch fire. But tonight, I couldn't look away from that strange light in the sky, and I had this nagging feeling that light was watching me too. Isadora Bellamy Wilder! I nearly leaped out of my socks. Pops looked on from the kitchen, about to pour in the kernels of corn. Graham stormed towards the glass deck doors, sweater in hand, angry face on, spicy words ready to fly. I said, get your... When she slid open the doors, our dog, a shepherd mixed disaster named Akka, galloped through the living room in a whoosh. He snaked past Grams's legs and out the door, almost knocking her down. "You naughty old thing," Grams told Akka, trying not to grin through her show of mad. "What's gotten into you?" Akka barked. He sat at my feet, grinning like the devil, and I couldn't help laughing. That dog loved me more than anything, and I loved him the same. We found Akka at the shelter a month after Mom died. It was love at first sight. Akka understood me like no one else, and had been my soulmate ever since. "I can't help it if he loves me best," I told Grams, brows high, giving her the same exasperated love you no matter what, but oh, are you trouble look she gave Akka. "Of course he does," Pops added through the open door. "Who wouldn't love you?" Those were the last words I heard Pop say, because right then, the not a star light moved. I did a double take. Like, did I really just see that thing move? The second I questioned it, the ball of light sprang forward, getting bigger the faster it came. The deck lights flickered and zapped. The trees surrounding us shivered. The boughs bent and tips swayed. Akka barked and barked as hundreds more of the same giant white lights filled the sky. A low hum vibrated through everything. The living room lit up in white. Grams, halfway inside the deck doors, dropped my sweater, fixed on the lights coming fast. Our hair rose and danced in the wind. Grams and I shared the same look, one that whispered of terror and fear, a second before our eyes screamed, "Run!" But where was there to run to? Grams shouted at Pops, "Get Maple!" Her voice shaky and sharp. Pop sprang from the kitchen in a flash and sped off after my sister. No questions asked. Popcorn was just starting to pop in the background when Grams reached out to grab me. She caught my arm as one of the lights lowered over our house. Everything glowed in pulsing white light. The object was huge, like a meteor from the center of space. Graham's eyes grew, gaping up at the brightly lit object hovering outside. I squinted up into the glare, still clamped onto Akka's collar, as the wind really started to blow. The only place the giant light wasn't lit was a black circle in the center. "Work! Work! Work!" Akka lunged at the light over our house and busted me out of my trance. My arms almost ripped from my sockets, and Akka escaped my grip. "Akka!" I sprang after him and barely caught him trying to jump off the deck. The drop was 15 feet to the ground. He could have died. Heart pounding, I pulled Akka toward the house, but he fought me the whole way. Hurricane winds, prickled with pine needles, swirled around me and my boy. My hair lifted like an uprooted tree, gnarled roots whipping this way and that. I shoved my hair off my face and called to Grams, "Help me! Akka won't come inside!" But Grams didn't move from the doorway. Her arm was still outstretched, where she'd been holding my sweater, her wild eyes fixed on the lights, like she couldn't see anything else. Pops and Maple ran downstairs and set their eyes on the lights. Maple had put on her sweater. I'd never seen my sister so scared. I just locked eyes with her when, flash! Megawatt spotlights of gold beamed to earth from the objects filling the sky. A shock of pain zapped through me. The amethyst on my mom's necklace seared against my skin. When I tried to touch it, when I tried to pull Akka inside, when I tried to move forward, I couldn't. I couldn't even shift my eyes. Suddenly, I was unable to move. The soft hum from the lights grew so loud, my eyes shook in their sockets. My body felt inside out. Before I could even process what was happening, the countless illuminated objects parked over Vermont shut off their lights. And all at once, I could move. The dark quiet of the mountaintop returned like nothing unusual had happened. I thought the worst was over, but our nightmare had just begun. That's the end of chapter 1 of Izzy at the End of the World. That chapter pulls you in right away. There's so much excitement and action, and it really tells you a lot about what's going on in Izzy's life. She lives with her grandparents and her sister and her dog on this mountaintop in Vermont. She misses her mother, but she's having this great night with them, and then these lights appear, and all of a sudden, everything is gone. So, if you are as gripped by that chapter as I was when I first read it, I hope that you continue reading Izzy at the End of the World by K.A. Reynolds. Thanks for joining me.